Meaningful Makeover is a makeover of early learning environments. Teachers don't often have the opportunity to see how other environments are designed. Meaningful Makeover is a chance to see just that. The process begins with an environmental assessment, which gives us data to plan with. We work in partnership with teachers and their coaches to plan for the makeover. Each episode features a different teacher in their early learning environment. You'll see how our environmental experts make over different areas, why they're making those changes, and how the design promotes learning opportunities. We do this on a small budget and by leveraging existing and community resources, so that these are relatable changes. The show is full of tips and ideas for making affordable, small changes that have a big impact. Welcome to Meaningful Makeover!
Mẹ thấy gắn giữ cái này, em giữ em bé trong cái này, cái mẹ thấy vui vẻ, happy hơn với mỗi chuyện nhà. Thật. Nó mới vô em đó. Thấy cái chữ Mai vậy, cái cô thích cái chữ lót của cô lại đặt Mai Childcare vậy. Cô có hy vọng cho nó mở thôi, thấy cô hơi chặt á, cô hy vọng mở cho sắp xếp nó rộng chút vậy. Không có cổ mà chán, cố hết làm cực hơn nhiều. Có cổ thì mẹ thấy mẹ đỡ hơn chút xíu.
Yeah, baby. Thấy mừng, thấy nó vui vẻ, thấy nó khỏe mạnh. Thì khi lại thăm cô rất là vui vẻ, cô rất happy vậy.
My name is Janet, and I'm here today to help co-host episode 3 of Meaningful Makeover with Dieta. We are in Seattle, Washington at Mice Childcare.
And I'm so happy to have Janet helping me with this episode because she is an expert on working with programs that have multi-age groups. We've already done an environmental assessment at this program and found that the provider could use some help setting up a space for the infants where they're protected from the older kids, and also a space where the older kids can engage with their learning materials without the infants getting into them. Let's go find out what the provider thinks though. Hi, go khỏe không?
Cô khỏe.
I'm so excited to be here and see your space.
Muốn giúp hát cho cô nhìn chứ.
Có chỗ nào thì cô muốn mình giúp cho cô nhiều không?
Cho rộng rãi cho baby rồi này kia này nọ dạ. Cũng hơi sợ chút nha. Dạ, cô cố gắng coi cũng để ý nhìn cho nó em bé cũng sợ dạ. Cho Kha lần nó học như là cô muốn gần gũi nói chuyện nó nhiều hơn này chứ. Yeah.
I was wondering about the art materials. How do the children use the art materials?
Mấy cái nghệ thuật á, thì ở đây á, cô cứ đem xuống cho mấy cái em bé xài không, rồi mấy cái em bé nó biết lấy mình đi.
Không, ví dụ là đứa lớn thì cô lấy hết để cho cái bàn nó chơi, cô ngồi cho hết cho nó, để rồi gớt cái nước sân cho nó chơi chứ.
Còn mấy cái em bé thiệt là nhỏ, mấy cái em bé là 2-3 tuổi á,
không thấy đủ đâu.
Không có cho nó chơi.
Okay. Nó sợ bỏ vào.
We're good to go. I have a good idea what we should do.
Awesome. Here is the front of Mai's place. It's a lovely space. The kids enter in through the front door and then the space is downstairs. She serves children and families in Vietnamese and English. She serves children and families that speak Vietnamese, Spanish, and English. She serves children with special needs and currently does serve one child with Down syndrome. Currently, she has 12 children enrolled, and 2 of them are babies under 1 year. Here's a first look at the layout of the space. This is the kind of main room. There's actually 2 rooms. So in general, what we do is we make a place for the older children where they can engage with their materials out of the way from the younger children. But in this case, I think we've talked about switching it up and having those babies have their own little space. And then they could still be brought out because the other areas will be safe as well, but that will be a nice place where they can count on the kids having interesting things to do but not getting trampled by this somewhat rambunctious group of kiddos. I think our targets for this makeover are going to be defining the learning areas, creating a space where the babies can safely explore, and also establishing a STEAM area for the older children. So here's a look at the back room. This is not in use right now. The idea here would be that we'll create that STEAM room in this area. So we will create a separate space for the older children, and it'll be in this back room. Now for the challenges. 2 rooms. It is a challenge. Even though we're really excited about it, it's a supervision challenge to start using that other space, you know? So we could think about things like a gate on the space. The cubbies are gonna be a challenge, as you'll see, but there's only 5 of them, and she has 12 children enrolled. So that's a challenge that we're gonna have to think about. Let's watch this little video. Really great peer interactions going on at this program. Children really feel a sense of belonging, and I just really want to build on that and enhance what she's already doing with her great group of kiddos. Okay, so I think we have a plan for this makeover. Let's do it. Awesome.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at Mount Blaze Childcare Center, and she's been doing this for 15 years.
We're so excited to be here to help. We're gonna define her learning areas. We're gonna create a space for the older children to play where they're not bothered by the little ones. Create an awesome area for the infants. Does everybody know what they're assigned to do?
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. Meaningful Makeover!
It's a baby gate. So it's kind of, we're going to section off a portion of the room so that the babies can have a safe place to play and not be interrupted by the older kids and stuff like that.
The table could go, or this could scoot over, and the table could be over here.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you think kind of a writing center?
That would be
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
That would be great. And yep.
Oh, and
It's a good space for privacy also, because we don't have that out there, but we don't need it for infants and toddlers. We just need it
This
for
door
these guys.
doesn't close.
No, but we have a gate in my car.
gate.
I'll bring the gate, which will need to be installed. But
These are
But you might have room next to.
Whoa, perfect.
It's 11 o'clock. We've gotten everything out of the space, and now we're bringing things back in. The science technology room for the big kids is coming along really quick. You should go check that out.
Yeah, those are cute.
So we have science behind you, we have art, and now we have reading
Yeah.
and writing.
Reading, writing, crafting, science, math, so much paper.
Yes, but this fun, colorful paper we're arranging in bright rainbows, so the children are excited about coming over and making a choice. The thing that's so great about children is they engage very easily visually, I think, right?
Yeah.
So if it's organized and looks fun and inviting, then they go in and they know exactly what to do.
We might have just helped that situation. Let's see. Because if you have the table in front of here, there's...
Hey, Bree, are you going to put one of the felt boards in that room?
I think she's... If you want to do it, it's...
So right now, I'm in the dramatic play area. My colleagues and I came up with the idea of printing out dishes, and behind it is the name of the dish, and it also features like an ingredient list of how they can make it. The kids can kind of like find around in their dramatic play area and kind of like make up. And with that, you kind of introduce math to them. So it's like dramatic play and math all in one activity. We think it's a good idea because it's a great way of bringing diversity into the center, and that way the provider can pick out dishes from different cultures of the world, and just introducing like dishes that the kids aren't normally used to seeing in their own homes.
So the shelf that was brought in was a new investment, and it's always exciting when you can bring in an item that allows the children, without again being told or directed, is to just walk right over and see the item. Everything is accessible for them to easily pull out. And this is a STEAM room, so all of these activities are going to be science. They come over here and they just know, look, I'm a scientist. And you don't have to, know what to do with them. You can just start kind of fidgeting around with them. And they're all colorful and they look inviting.
It is 2:18, so we have almost everything back in, and we're putting up the display now. We've had a few struggles with placement, but I think we've got it worked out now.
So this is how we test if things can be choking hazards or not. This, you just put it in here, and if it sticks out, that means that it can't go into a toddler's mouth all the way and that they cannot choke on it. And things like marker caps that fit all the way in are choking hazards and should not be in a toddler classroom.
No, yeah, it's true. This was a big purchase for us. The cubbies that she had before, there weren't enough for every kid. So now there is. Each child has their own cubby, and it's important for them to have that. So everyone has a spot to put all of theirs, and we're labeling them so they'll be able to recognize them right away.
It seems pretty chill. So in this space, we have the art materials down low and accessible to the children, because the toddlers aren't going to be able to get in here because we have this nice gate that will keep them out.
Is that good? That seems centered and stuff? Okay.
They have some children with special needs too, and when we asked them what some of those challenges were, they said was arts and crafts. These triangle crayons, they're easier for fine motor skills because they have the angles on them that make it a little bit easier to grab and to draw with. A lot of times when children are working on papers and they're working on tables, the papers move a lot, so a really quick, easy curriculum modification is to just tape it down because it makes it more stable. There's one other challenge the provider mentioned for one of the little boys in the site. Just getting ready to go was a bit of a challenge, so we made him an individual little set of cards that are about helping him to transition. So in this way, we've tried to support individual children, as well as at the same time, these are things that can support all children in the site.
Thấy cảm động. Mình thấy mà mừng thì la thôi. Yeah, happy, yeah.
All right, I think we're ready.
Cô có sao không?
Không, mình cảm thấy vui đấy.
Ok. Bây giờ con chỉ cô cái dưới hầm ha.
Dạ,
ok. Nhắm mắt. Lấy hai tay nhắm. Ok. Thì con đi lộ với cô. Ok, không có cần làm bây giờ đâu, đi xuống thôi.
Nhắm mắt ha. Nhắm mắt. Ok. Bây giờ con giúp cô. Đừng nhìn ha. Đừng nhìn. Đừng nhìn ha. Ok. Con đang giúp cô. Sắp
Tới rồi ha. Ok. 1, 2, 3, nhìn.
Wow. Wow. Đẹp cute. Yeah.
Thích không?
Đẹp quá vậy.
Đẹp hả?
Yeah.
Wow. Cho con một miếng đi.
Yeah, okay.
She loves it. Đẹp quá. Đẹp quá. Đẹp quá means so pretty.
Không thấy rộng quá, nhìn thấy cảnh nó rộng gấp đôi đúng không?
Yeah. She's saying there's a lot more open space now. Mình mua mấy cái bắp bế mới luôn.
Bắp bế thì thích lắm nha.
Yeah. So mấy cái đồ chơi này thì cho mấy cái em bé một buổi.
Đúng rồi, khỏi thử.
Wait, mình lấy cái này á, mình bỏ mấy cái puzzle vô đây á, cái em bé nó lấy vậy lấy ra, thấy không? Mình bỏ cái nhạc ở đây á, thì chừng nào cô muốn hát với mấy cái em bé là mấy cái em bé nó nhìn đây rồi nó hát với cô.
Ok.
Yeah. Rồi con có cái tiếng Mỹ luôn, sau có tiếng Việt và tiếng Mỹ.
Yeah, ok. Yeah.
Tại con không biết hết trơn, mấy cái em bé nó không có biết nói tiếng Việt hết. Yeah. Thấy không? Vì chỗ này nó mấy em bé ngồi rồi nó đọc mấy cái sách, đồ vậy luôn. Ok. Bây giờ muốn đi qua bên cái phòng kia không?
Ok.
Ok. Rồi mấy cái quần, mấy cái mền với đồ đắp đi ngủ ấy thì mình bỏ ở trên đây.
Wow.
Yeah. Mình có mấy cái hình mấy cái em bé này ngoài luôn, so chừng nào cô có mấy quần áo với đồ vậy thì mình bỏ đây luôn.
Yeah, ok. Wow, đẹp dữ nha. Wow, rất cute ha. Wow, đẹp đi, tụi tôi đến chơi thoải mái.
Thoải mái vậy á.
Yeah, đẹp quá.
Cái em bé vừa cho cô với con
nó chơi cái thoải mái, có không gian chơi giống như từ đứa tuổi nó ra chơi vẫn thấy thoải mái hơn. Nó không có quậy quặn quá. Từ đứa lớn thì chơi lớn khác vậy.
Yeah, con nghĩ cái phòng này cho mấy cái em bé lớn thôi á.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thấy nó rộng ra, thấy nó rất là đẹp chứ.
So, how did we do with our $750 budget for Ngop's Makeover? The biggest purchase was the play yard for the infants. In a site with many busy children, the infants needed a space just for them to explore. To create the steam room, we added a shelf for storage with trays for learning activities. These allow for easy access and organization. We added this 12-cube shelf to use as cubbies, so all the kids have a space to store their belongings. We love using an adjustable table in our makeovers, so we added one here, along with chairs that were used throughout the site. In the library, we added several things. The bookshelf provides easy access to books and defines the space. We also added some great books in Vietnamese. Janet and Jamie creatively made the song cards and felt board from supplies we already had. And a special shout out to our data collector, Laura Marshall, for making and donating the beautiful pillows to add comfort and softness. After a few new materials, all together, our grand total for items purchased for Ngop's Makeover is $746.35. But don't forget about the repurposed items, crew hours, and planning. All of them together helped us make small changes that will have a big impact in Gulf's family childcare.
Nó thích tôi la lên wow, nó thích vui lắm vậy. Tôi thích là nhiều tại có em bé chơi cái mình thấy nó, mình nhìn cái em bé nó chơi cái mình thấy cũng cảnh vui lên nữa không? Chơi nó thích chơi nó thoải mái thôi, không có chặt chội trong cái cuộc. Dễ hơn, dạ. Dễ hơn. Cái còn mà anh thấy nó chơi thoải mái cho con khỏe hơn cô chút vậy. Dạ.
Hi everyone. You might have noticed in Knox Family Childcare program that we had a really cool puzzle shelf, and today we're going to show you how we made that. We used these really cool wire shelves that you can find online and often at secondhand stores. The really cool thing about using these wire racks for shelves is that you can customize the height and they can fit those really odd shaped puzzles. So today we're going to use these octagonish shaped connectors. We're going to use zip ties and also the wall connectors and a screw. You'll want to look up online how to install that properly. These are really important to keep the shelf from tipping over. We also have these flat pieces that can keep puzzles that have really small pieces from falling through the shelves. All right, now we're going to start putting this together. You want to make sure that you face the connectors in the same direction throughout your puzzle rack so that it'll fit evenly when you put it against the wall. So I usually make these pieces all facing back. There are different size wire racks, so if you have really big puzzles, you could get a larger size of the wire racks. All right, this will be the last one for today. There we go. There we go. That looks great. Okay, so now we're going to start adding the shelves. I'm going to need some zip ties. All right, so in order to add these shelves in, you just take these zip ties and cinch them nice and tight on the puzzle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use different colored zip ties for different shelves because then I could put little bingo dots on the puzzles so the kids would know which shelves to put the puzzle back on. Just gonna cut off these long ends. If you don't like using the zip ties, you could always use Velcro. They have rolls of Velcro at the store as well that would work for attaching the shelves. But I think these work okay. And I think I'm just going to put one shelf down here so that floor puzzles can be stored stacked on these shelves. And we'll do the blue down here. Oh, it's kind of wiggly, so I'm going to add a zip tie to the back. All right, so you might be thinking this is kind of small for some of those really big puzzles. Well, you can also find these larger wire rack pieces, so don't be afraid to look for those. Okay, let's put some puzzles on the shelf. And then if you have some kids that are just learning how to use puzzles and you want to just put out only a small sample for them, you could use a tray and just put a few pieces out there for them to work with as they're starting out. So you're gonna need the bigger wire rack for this one. There you go, a puzzle rack.
Ready, go. Kia con bướm vàng,
Kia con bông vàng,
xòe đôi cánh,
xuê đôi cánh,
tương cánh bay năm ba vòng.